Hello there and welcome to another developer diary video. The last couple of dev diaries on the levies and legions have been really quite impressive, and well, hopefully today we'll have something on that level as well. So how about we just take away this lovely image, which I'm sure you've all seen before. It's the new title art for Imperator, and we shall get going once again. So there we go. Imperator Rome, Dev Diary, the Heirs of Alexander. Greetings all. While there is yet more to come regarding Marian military matters, today I'm here to announce that the content pack Heirs of Alexander will be released in conjunction with the Marius update. So, first of all, content pack that will be a paid DLC in the same vein as we had with the Punic Wars and with the Emperor's content pack, and there was another one, I'm forgetting the name of it, I think I'm forgetting the name of it. Let's have a look. Just quickly have a look. What's the DLC for this game again? I've completely forgotten. Also, you can see the lovely content art there as well. Although I will say, I'm not really a fan of having the logo here be the same. That's not something I'm too fond of. Magna Graecia, that's the one. My apologies. Right, let's get back into Dev Diary. So it'll be released in conjunction with the Marius update. As befits our 2.0 statement, the Heirs of Alexander content pack will be the largest yet, encompassing mission trees and flavor events for all of the Diadochi nations, as well as the ability to customize and build a large variety of great wonders as detailed in the Vitruvius Dev Diary. Including, alongside this, will be a variety of additional content that you've grown to expect from content packs, including new event pitches, music tracks, and more. As time goes on, we'll introduce more specifics surrounding the content you'll receive in the Heirs of Alexander pack. However, as a small addendum to last week's diary, I would like to clarify that the Legion honours that you encountered in the Legion's feature reveal will be part of the Heirs of Alexander pack. With this announcement out of the way, I'll detail a few more changes you can expect in the Marius update. Right, so just before we go on to that, the Legion Honors seem like a really cool feature that I would really not like to not have. Like, it adds us so much flavor. It is a little bit of a disappointment that is a mechanical change, right? That is objectively a mechanical change because those honors give you bonuses like, as we saw, some morale. That is a mechanical change. And while it is very flavor-based, is it a mechanical change? I don't know if I'd describe it as a mechanical change though, because it is just a modifier that you're now going to be missing out on. But those modifiers are, it's power, right? You're not missing out on a mechanic as such, but you are missing out on a bonus that you would otherwise have, right? And you won't get it. I'm on the fence about whether that's really in fitting with the current way that the game works, and the way that the mission of not locking behind mechanics behind paywalls. Although, like I said, it's not mechanic, it is just a modifier, and you do get modifiers with the mission trees that you won't otherwise get if you don't have other content packs. So I guess in that way it's fine. It's a bit sad that it's such an awesome little feature that you're not going to get if you don't have the content pack. The other things like event pitches, music tracks, and such are, of course, all well and good. And I would say as well that you will be getting some unit variety, because we already know we're getting unit variety as well because levies and legions look different, right? So we're getting some new unit variety models, even just without getting the content pack. I wonder if there's going to be more with the content pack. Possibly. It does say more here, so, and it is some things that we've grown to expect. It will have mission trees and flavor events for all the Diadochi nations. It's something that I think the Diadochi have needed for quite some time. They are other than Rome, Carthage, the Diadochi are the big set piece empires, the Frances and Englands, if you will, of this game. So it makes sense for the Diadochi to get their own little mission trees. That's all well and good. That's fine. Hopefully they're good. I am hoping that we don't get... I hope we get something a bit more story driven, I guess. I'm trying to say, I don't know the exact wording of what I'm trying to say, but the mission trees so far, like, they've got more complex. Like the earliest mission trees were some of the most basic. They had, you do X, you get X. Later ones have been a bit more interesting. It's like, have your nation be in this kind of state and then you'll get this. The Sparta tree, for example, was pretty impressive by having, have a certain amount of this pop type in this place and then you'll get this little bonus. Right? That's a little bit more interesting than, conquer this or, that kind of thing. Like they got a little bit more complex, a little bit more interesting. Hopefully that trend continues and we'll have something a bit more complex and interesting than what we've had before. I would hope so. And then we've got the Great Wonders. You already know my opinion on that. It's not something that really does much for me. It's not a set piece feature. It's okay. I really quite heavily dislike the idea that you can just build a replica of a great the lighthouse, Pharaoh's lighthouse in Alexandria. I hate that you can basically create a replica of that in fucking London. I think that's a terrible idea. But the idea of making wonders or making like customized shrines, I think is a pretty good idea. It would be very nice if one of the main mechanics behind those would be you can build them on holy sites and nowhere else, because that would definitely limit the amount of them. Because I can see somebody, and it might even be me, I don't know, being a little bit of a dickhead and building a great wonder in every single one of their provinces. Like I can see that happening, and I might just do it for a lark. You know my opinion on the Vitruvius stuff. Marius has been so much more interesting for me. Anyway, let's move on to the Legacy of Alexander. This Daidoki-only war goal has been refactored to use a mechanic similar to that of Civil Wars. What this means in essence is that occupying a territory belonging to the target war leader during the Legacy of Alexander war will result in the immediate secession of said territory into the opposing war leader. Fuck me, that's huge. That is fucking insane. Oh my god, the Antigonids' job just got so much harder. Holy fuck. As well, if you think, right, when you siege all of the forts and the provincial capital in an area, that entire area is going to become yours. Not occupied, but straight up yours. Holy fuck. Okay, the new world conquest strategy is going to be, as the Antigonids, win and own everyone else. Right, that's the new world conquest strategy. Holy fuck. Every territory that changes hands this way will add a small amount of war exhaustion to the war leader that gains the territory, resulting in wars which large amounts of territory can change hands while also reaching an organic endpoint at which both sides are weary enough to make peace. Okay. Alright, that's... How can you work on your war exhaustion? There is... I believe there's a button for that, right? There's a button for war exhaustion reduction. And I believe you use tyranny. If I'm remembering rightly, it's in the religion screen. My god, you could gain so much from that. We're also looking at making a similar war goal available in other circumstances, particularly for situations where it makes historical sense to do so. For example, the expansion of the Parthian state. I will say immediately that if this war goal got expanded, I could see this really answering the naysayers when they say that, you can't expand as much as you want to. It takes Rome more than 3 wars to fully annex Carthage, and they don't like that, right? And I can understand where they're coming from, because if you want to follow a historical path, then yeah, Carthage took 3 wars to digest. But it does seem very, very powerful for sure. We'll have to wait and see. Because if they expand that to be all wars, that's too far. That's way, way, way too far. I've also seen some suggestions from people saying, "Oh, just remove war score entirely," and I don't agree with that either. But yeah, for sure, that's interesting. Very interesting. All right. So, Legion and Levy indicators. As we hinted last week, there'll be a visual distinction between levied units and legionary units. The 3D models will be used to display levies, and legions will use light and heavy infantry, respectively. This distinction is a highly important gameplay factor, and as such, the large variety of new unit models will be included as part of the Marius update. Katsura, as someone with a greater aesthetic eye than myself, has prepared a variety of screenshots to give you a preview of some of the unit models coming in 2.0. I think he spelled his name wrong. I think it's Katsuran. Alright, maybe it's not. Okay, my bad. Anyway, we've included side-by-side of Levy and Legion models. Some will be familiar to you and some may be new. While we try to respect the period which Imperator is set, in some cases we've had to use a little imagination, particularly for graphical cultures in which the distinction between Levy and Legion is not always clear. So we have, I guess this is North African, perhaps? Because that looks a bit like Gibraltar right there. Yeah, okay. This is actually Arabian, so I was completely wrong. No, my bad. So we've got the Arabian group, we have got the Celtic group, and you'd only be able to see this after you get yourself to be a monarchy or a republic, because as we've seen before, tribes do not create legions. But I love this model. This model looks awesome. We've got the Greek group, and I would just say that we're also going to be getting some unique ones for the different areas that have unique models, like Sparta, Athens, Epirus. I believe the Diadochi also have unique models. The Roman group, we got the Velites and the Legionaries. Very nice. Next week we'll have more Legion and Levy 3D models from other graphical culture groups to show you. And now onto Snow Crystal Seleucid missions. Aha! Lovely. So, for those of you who haven't seen me around before, I'm Joachim. This is one of the content designers on Imperator Rome. This week, it's my pleasure to introduce the new Seleucid trees that I've been working on for the Marius update. The Seleucids have 4 new mission trees, focusing on Babylonia, Syria, Anatolia, and Palestine, Phoenicia, respectively. When I started working on them, I wanted to showcase what happened in the early years of the dynasty, as well as pay particular attention to the regions where they could come into contact and conflict with the other Diadochi, as this is a Diadochi-focused pack. I'll try to limit myself slightly by showing off each mission and talking a bit about them, then showing one specific mission task included in that mission before moving on to the next tree. If this dev diary was to go into every specific task, I worry it might get a tad too long for most people. So, immediately what I can tell you is this looks way better and way nicer. The previous mission tree, they had these, like, they were in doorways, and there was like 2 or 3 perhaps different little icons. These all, well, mostly look unique. We got these 2 are the same. We got these 2 are the same. We've got what, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 different icons now. That's not bad. It's an improvement, I think, for sure. So, Priest of Marduk, securing loyalty, dynasty, cult. Is there anything here that looks particularly noteworthy? Alright. For Babylonia, as a logical starting point when you begin a new game, I wanted to have some sort of interactions with the local priesthood. They played a notable role in the early rule of Seleucus when he was still a satrap. I also wanted to show that Babylonia was in many ways an important reason why Seleucus rose to prominence, and a large part of the mission tree focuses on building up Babylonia to become a vital core of your nation. Makes sense. At least 90% of the pops in the region of Mesopotamia owned by Seleucid Empire is Macedonian or of an integrated culture. Alright. And you get 2 free province investments. This part, not super interesting as a reward, but I guess it is moving on to something else. One of the advantages of the changes we made in the Menander update is that we now have access to more tools that we can utilize in our missions, like culture integration. You probably see several tasks like these where we either ask you to integrate a specific culture or to have integrated a certain amount of people in an area or region. So we've got Syria now, which looks very interesting, the way it goes. Syrian Dreams leads on to everything. As for many of the Seleucid dynasty is deeply associated with the area around Syria, to the point where the region was occasionally called Seleucus, as Seleucus spent many years and considerable resources funding Antioch and Seleucia Perea. Because of our starting date, he does not actually own the area when the game starts, so it makes a natural first goal for the player to start moving westwards and take control of the place the Seleucid dynasty was most known for holding. The first 3 tasks, up to but not including Syrian governance, is focused around conquering the area if you do not already hold it, but everything afterwards is mostly focused on building up Syria. On the right hand side, there's some optional tasks where you can step through the Syrian gates and start conquering Cilicia on the other side of the Amanos Mountains. So, if you have Assyrian governance, you spend 250 gold and 50 political influence, and you appeal to Hellenistic popes in Greece, Macedonia, and Asia to migrate to Seleucid cities in Syria and Syria-Cyristine. I've never got that right. That's interesting. Even if you don't own this, you say you're playing as Macedon and you own all of Greece, Macedonia, and hell, fucking Asia as well. And then Seleucids just steal your pops. I wonder how many pops you'd actually take from that. Oh, we might actually notice here. Fuck me, that's actually a fair number of pops. That's almost 100 pops. That's very interesting. I wonder if that is actually removed from the other places, because that would be super interesting. Super interesting. Alright, lovely. I like this. This is good. Remember when I was saying before about more interesting mechanical changes in the missions? This is one of them. I like it. One of the things I wanted to showcase with the mission was how Seleucus actively built up Syria and how a large group of Greek settlers migrated to the region so he could bolster his armies with Greek troops. Cut off from the West and Mediterranean, Seleucus did not have access to the heavier infantry of his peers at our start date. It should be mentioned that countries losing pops from this event are actually quite well paid to make up for it. Okay, fair enough then. So, Anatolia. This is all for, I guess... Well, it's still for Seleucus, but if he takes Cilicia and further. Taking the Antigonid capital, for example. This is a long one. After beating back Lysimachus's attempt at taking control of the whole empire, Seleucus himself was overtaken by ambition and eventually died at the hands of Ptolemy Ceraunus, and with his death the final living successor was put to rest. Unlike Lysimachus, whose little empire quickly crumbled and fell apart, Seleucus' death was fairly well handled by Antiochus, and the empire would endure for several hundred years. One major change before and after Lysimachus' attempt at conquering the other Diadochi was the importance of the Anatolian region for the Seleucids. Though Seleucus held parts of Cilicia after the Battle of Ipsus, his control was confined to the very southeastern part of the region. After the death of Seleucus, Antiochus would shift focus westwards, spending a lot of his time in Anatolia where he funded several cities and improving the infrastructure all the way to Sardis in the far west, in addition to beating back the Galatian invasion. Later on, 2 scions of the dynasty, Seleucus II Callinicus and Antiochus Hyrax, would fight over Anatolia as it had become such an integral part of the empire. As a third mission, it made a lot of sense for me to focus on Anatolia, and I chose to specifically focus on regions surrounding the Persian Royal Road. The mission has both conquest missions as well as infrastructure, slowly moving you westwards as you go through it. It's not completely like Seleucus' sudden capture of the whole region, but I figured it made for the best experience. So we got the Oracle in Didyma. So you need 2 temple buildings and you unlock a deity, which is... it's fine. It's not exactly the most interesting of missions, to be honest. The Empire gets more happiness and omen power. If that's permanent, that's pretty strong. Seleucid dynasty ended up being particularly associated with the Greek deity Apollo, leading to the syncretic deity Apollo Nabu, as well as their support of the oracle in Didyma. It should be noted that Apollo Didymaeos was originally a deity specifically for Syracuse in the Magna Graecia content pack, so you'll only be able to unlock the deity for the Seleucid Empire if you already own that pack as well. Interesting, okay. Alright. Palestine and Phoenicia. So after you secure Syria, you can do all this. That's a pretty big tree as well, to be honest. Going all the way to Judea and further. For the final mission, it made a lot of sense to focus on the region that would eventually lead to several Syrian wars fought over it, Palestine and Phoenicia. After the Battle of Ipsus, Seleucus was originally given a far larger piece of land, but found Ptolemy had already taken control of it and refused to hand it over to his old friend. Though Seleucus forgave this slight and would go on to make more out of Syria than most would have expected of him, his descendants would eventually start using it as a region to engage their southern neighbours in the many Syrian wars. For the mission, the first part of the mission focuses on securing a route southwards through the southern part of Syria. Second half focuses on conquering Palestine, and then start building up the infrastructure in the region with a chance to resist the Judean state as a client. Sorry, release it. So if you spend the monies, you get more integration, more migration from Greece. All right. Similar to the migration to Syria, there was a large group of Greek settlers who ended up moving to Decapolis, leading to its name, as they re-established several of the 10 cities. I wanted a mission task that could replicate to a certain degree, even though historically speaking the migration to Decapolis happened under both the Ptolemies and Seleucids rather than in one fell swoop. So, personally, I've always been a huge fan of the Seleucids, so it was a pleasure being able to work on them, and I hope people enjoy the missions when they are finally released. Until next time. Alright. Yeah, no, it is interesting. It is interesting. I would say, look, mission trees are a part of this game. So I guess if you don't like them, you're not going to get much out of this. You're really not. If you like them, then you do get a lot out of it. That's basically the way it goes. I think, I don't know. I'm sort of on the fence. Like, there are certain mission trees that I think are really good, and certain ones that are a bit iffy. But you know, I like this one. These settling ones, these settling missions are pretty interesting, and it makes sense. You know, you spend some money, you spend some political influence, and you get some pops moving from other places. Like, that makes sense. I like it. Mission trees as a whole, they could be done. I think while only some nations have unique trees, they're not going to feel amazing. It's when every or a lot of nations have their own unique trees, that's when it's going to start feeling a bit better for people, I feel. But I think, you know, they have to do something to monetize the game, right? They can't just give everything for free. They need some flavory stuff, and mission trees certainly fulfill that adequately, I feel. So, okay. I'm okay with it. This guy talking, I think, about the legacies of Alexander CB. This also means that war goals that use Civil War mechanics are opened up for modders now with the purchase of the DLC. That would be game-changing if it could, and yes, that is indeed true. So, modders can now use Civil War mechanics for their war goals in various mods. It already begins, content being locked behind several DLCs at a time. We're only in the second expansion. This is not the second, this is the third. What if you only own Magna Graecia? Do you also lose the ability to get that deity? Is this now part of the mission tree? So, if you... This guy is not happy about, you know, the deity being a double DLC thing. You only get several bonuses from mission tasks besides the deity. It was originally part of the deities we set up for Magna Graecia, so it was more of just a minor bonus for people who had both DLCs rather than trying to punishing those who did not. He's talking about, where is he now? This guy here, Apollo Didymeus. And, I mean, it is one deity. And it might not even be a very good one. I don't even remember. There are several to choose from, and you can only use one at a time. So, yeah, if this was objectively the most powerful, sure, there's a reason to get salty. I don't think it is the most powerful, because, honestly, I can't remember ever using him. I don't really think there's too much to get salty at, to be perfectly honest. But, you know, if, like I say, if it is the objectively the most powerful deity by some margin, it's like super obvious, then yeah, then get salty about it. I'll fucking raise my own spear up with you. Right now, I don't see the reason for it. But yeah, that's the dev diary. That's the thing. That's the deal. I'd like to know what you guys think. Right? When you consider the last two dev diaries have been like 10 out of 10s. This one doesn't feel as nearly as good, right? This is not a 10 out of 10 dev diary. Like, there's still stuff to like, there's still stuff to appreciate and stuff to look forward to, but it's not like game-changing shit like we've had. But, you know, not every dev diary can be game-changing shit. So, you know, slightly disappointing in that way, but there's not really, I think, much reason to be disappointed at the same time, right? There's nothing here that is egregiously bad. There's nothing here that is egregiously, you know, boring or whatever. It's just not on the same level as the last two, and, you know, that's fine. Not everything can be. But yeah, decent enough Div Diary is what I would say. Some decent changes coming. And, you know, some information about what's coming in the various parts. We now know what the DLC is going to be called, which is fine, I guess. You know, Heirs of Alexander, Epigonai. Oh, Diadochi even is the Heirs of Alexander, and then the Heirs of the Diadochi is the Epigonai. But yeah, no, it's interesting enough. It's interesting enough. But anyway, I would like to know what you guys think, so please do leave your comments down in the comment section below. I'd very much like to hear them. What are your thoughts on mission trees? What are your thoughts on locking things like the Legion honors behind the DLC? I would like to know your thoughts on that, so please leave them in the comment section below. But anyway, until next time, thank you all very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Likes and comments for the algorithm would be lovely. I also have a Patreon if you would like to support me there. Link in the description below. Until next time, thank you all very much for watching once again. I suck at ending videos. Bye bye.